Hi, my name is Aber Arneson, and I'm a clinical herbal therapist, and I practice in Ottawa, Ontario. Um, I do a lot of support work for people struggling with chronic infection using herbal medicine, and this includes Lyme disease and the co-infections, as well as conditions like Panda and chronic strep, staph infections, all sorts of you know microorganisms that get inside us and cause havoc. So um, I give local little workshops on working with herbal medicine and chronic infection. And every time I do, people say, "Hey, are you gonna do something more with this? I want to come. I want to hear the teaching, but I live too far away." So I have bitten the bullet and I have decided to make a series of short videos. And I don't know how many of these short videos I'm going to make, but I will make a few and I'll try to do one a week on basic principles to consider when using herbal medicine to help someone overcome a chronic infection. So, the first thing that we really need to pay attention to, and in my experience with using herbal medicine, and I've been practicing as a clinical herbalist for 15 years now, is that the holistic model of herbal medicine is really the model that works best with plant medicine. And when I say a holistic model, I don't mean that just because I'm using plant medicine, I'm working holistically. A holistic model of medicine can be any modality. What a holistic modality does is it takes into account the many different relationships at play when there is a chronic illness. So, or even an acute illness for that matter. So the relationships are very dynamic and they're changing, and the different relationships will influence each other. So when looking at chronic infection, these are a few of the relationships that you want to keep in mind if you're going to work in a holistic manner. So the first one is the pathogen in the body. So you need to understand what the microorganism is doing in the body and how the body is responding to it. So where the immune system is failing, what organs are being affected by the pathogen, how the pathogen is moving through the body, what parts. Usually people choose more traditional forms of medicine before they see a herbalist. So how those traditional forms of medicine like antibiotics and steroids have come into play to hinder the body's response to the pathogen. Basically, big picture, immune system, pathogen, and the parts of the body that are being affected by the pathogen, those relationships. Then you have to look at the relationships within the body. So how does the liver become affected if there is a chronic infection in the lungs? How is the liver plagued? A lot of herbs that work on the respiratory tract also have a fairly strong effect on the liver. Herbs like white horehound and elecampane, osha, of course, calamus or rat root or plant with many names, depends on where you are. So a lot of those plants will have an effect on both. Licorice is another one. Or how is the infection in the bowels affecting the kidney? How is the brain being affected by the infections in the blood vessels, all that. So the relationships of the different parts of the body and how they are interacting as well. So you've got your relationship between the pathogen and the body, your relationship between the different parts of the body, and you've got how the person is responding to the pathogen. So some people, they are like, bring on the warrior, like, gotta kill this thing, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. That's the only option. Other people are like, oh, I feel so overwhelmed, I can't cope with this, I just need to go to bed. Other people, have never been sick before in their life, and they're like, how could this happen to me? Why me? How, so you have to look at all that and also understand that the pathogen is also playing with the brain, so it's affecting the overall mood and emotional balance in the person. So how the person is able to respond to the illness, what the person's response is, and what their story is of the illness. The next thing is the big one. This is a big one. Are there other pathogens involved? So is there a yeast infection going on? Are there co-infections like Bartonella going on, Babesia going on? Is there a long history of past infections? So a lot of times when someone's struggling with chronic infection, you go back into their medical history and you'll find out they don't have tonsils, or they've lost their appendix, or they had chronic ear infections as a kid. And I actually kind of draw a thread through all those infections over time. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes there's definitely a relationship. So you want to know, is there other things going on? Other infections? Teeth, a lot of times when the immune system is weakened, all of a sudden teeth infections start showing up. And sometimes just taking care of some of the infections in the teeth with herbal medicine, you can free up a lot of the work of the immune system and everything quiets down. The pathogen in the immune system, we've talked about that already. And other relationships, like your workplace, is there a lot of chemicals in your workplace, a lot of cleaning products that are strong chemicals? How are they affecting your body? One woman I know, she parks in a garage with a lot of mold at her workplace, and that definitely has an impact on her ability to become well. Relationships within your family, and your relationship with the environment. Like, do you go outside? Do you not go outside? When you go outside, what do you go into? So all these relationships you take into account, and you work. I like to work from that as my foundation, is an understanding as best as I can of the complex weaving of relationships that contribute to health or non-health, and how relationships either support chronic infection or help let it go. Okay, so that was video 1. Stay tuned for next week. Sometime I'll dial in and make video number 2.